The mural painting Building of the Republic by Max Lingner was painted in 1952 and 1953. Today we can see it at the Detlef Rohweder House in Berlin, the former House of Ministries of the GDR. The building has a special meaning as the GDR was created there in 1949. The mural painting is one of the most important commissional works of the GDR, and it should overall represent the rise of the working class.
In the middle of the picture, in front of an unfinished brick wall, you can see 5 children. All of them are dressed neatly. 3 of them, 2 girls and 1 boy, are wearing nearly the same clothes: a white shirt, a blue scarf, and black trousers or a black skirt. These clothes are the typical uniform of all junge Pioniere, which represented one of the numerous youth organizations of the GDR. Students participated in it from the 1st to the 3rd class. Then they became Thälmann Pioniere and later from the 7th class onwards members of the FDJ, the Freie Deutsche Jugend. Thus the state interfered in the lives of the people from the early childhood onwards, officially to secure same chances in life for all of them. The uniform shows the ideal of a classless society and that everybody is able to get honored by special deeds exerted for the community and not for the membership of a social class. But on the other side, these structures gave the government the possibility to control and to observe the development of their young citizens, because nearly all GDR students were members of one or another youth organization. With flag ceremonies, songs and youth camps, they formed an important part in the everyday life of the GDR youth. Additionally, everybody who was not member of the youth organizations had to fear restrictions in all parts of life. This shows that the people weren't as free as the state claimed them to be. However, the system privileged conformist people and thus didn't provide equal chances for all. One have to confess that the GDR had a good, developed educational system, which included sponsorship of people from underprivileged working class and peasant background. The position of the children in the middle of the mural painting shows the importance of new generations for the whole society as the future leaders of the GDR.
Concerning women in the GDR, they held a rather different role in society than their West German counterparts. Whereas those were mainly meant to be housewives and care for their children, Eastern German women were a big chunk of the GDR's workforce, slightly over 50%. Additionally, social security provisions concerning childcare were rather high, or at least high enough. Hence, women were able to work enough and be financially more independent, even if they had children. Still, there was few variation in the job sectors women occupied. Statistically, they worked mainly in the mid and lower wage sectors, with very few women having top positions in the society. The unity and the strong workforce of GDR women can be seen in the mural painting, since the women make out a large chunk of it, standing up strong, showing movement and liveliness, musical instruments and children next to them. However, they are also shown in the same clothing, which falls in line with socialist ideals, but also with the fact that most women worked similar paid jobs.
The agricultural aspects of the GDR's economy take up a central space in the painting. Agriculture was a key element of the economy, as the east of Germany had always been a more rural area than the more industrial west. This was especially true in the early days of the GDR. And where the focus should later shift towards other economic branches, the strong agricultural branch did ensure the independence of the Socialist Republic in the field of food supplement for the years to come. In the painting, we can see this by the central placement of the agricultural elements, the tractor and the woman bringing in the wheat crops in front of the rural-looking background. Looking at the surrounding elements, the agricultural lawns are quite literally backing out the politicians shaking the hand of the workers in the center of the painting, while showing cooperation with the heavy steel industry on the other side, signaled by the construction of the railway into the agricultural dominant areas and the apparent renovation of the houses towards the left side of the painting. However, one can also interpret this as the foreshadowing of the later developments in the GDR's economy, when agriculture was replaced with chemical and mechanical industry as the leading economic powers.
Like it was pointed out already, there was a shift from an agriculture-oriented industry to chemical industry and heavy industry in the GDR. On the right side of the picture there are 4 men with a pair of tongs in front of a kiln. This part of the painting should especially underline the GDR's focus on heavy industry and therefore show also insights into the economy. The East German economy had the highest per capita production in the Eastern Bloc. They were not particularly favorably endowed with natural resources and therefore reliant on domestic brown coal energy and the USSR for oil imports. British historian Mary Fulbrook also pointed out that traditional economic strengths included vehicle and machine production, as well as chemicals, optical and electronic enterprises. Heavy industry enterprises like the publicly owned enterprise Stahl- und Walzwerk Hennigsdorf were in focus of the GDR's economic policies. The aim was to create a socialist society characterized by industrial workers. Big enterprises were collectivized and put under state control. Although the GDR had to face some difficulties because of paying reparations to the USSR, the production grew and the planned economy seemed to be successful. The economic plans of the early 1950s focused on boosting the heavy industry, which is also shown on the mural painting, but also boosting the chemical industry and the energy industry. The men on the mural painting show off the ideal of an hard-working industrial worker who was necessary to bring forward the building of the Republic.
On the center right side you can see several workers installing and adjusting rails. As seen in the small segment of the whole picture, the workers are trying hard to get their jobs done. They are doing their best to achieve their certain part in society. Hence you could say progression and productivity is a big factor for the structure of the Republic. Though it is looking like that, it probably has to do with the demonstrations that were transported to Russia. Of necessity, a resort and outdated arrangements occurred during the reconstruction. Thereby there grew the need of repair, and the portion of manual labor rose.
All in all, the mural painting by Max Lingner shows quite good the deep gap between political and wishful thinking, how the society should look like and how it should be represented to the public, and the social reality. The original draft was changed for several times to please the demands of Walter Ulbricht and Otto Grotewohl. Even the title was altered from Die Bedeutung des Friedens für die kulturelle Entwicklung der Menschheit und die Notwendigkeit des kämpferischen Einsatzes für ihn to the more offensive one, der Aufbau der Republik. Thus, the image was censored and manipulated, showing only an ideal while leaving out all bad things and points of criticism. Nevertheless, it is an important evidence of the GDR's history.